right, I'm recording and it's going. And is it though? It is. Excellent. Okay, so is it though? Yeah, it is. All right, here we go. It starts in 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to There Will Be Dungeons at therewillbedungeons.com, a D&D campaign that continues into its second phase. You might call it Season 2, you might call it Year 2, call it what you want. But it's time for our adventurers to get off their ass and head out into the wilds and kill some shit. It's going to be very exciting stuff. Welcome back, everybody. Glad to be here. And thanks for all your wonderful comments about John's one-off. I think that went really well, and people have been nothing but praising it. And so now we get back to the norm, where Bo takes us by the hand through a whole new set of circumstances that will surely challenge our now level 7 adventurers. Before we do any of that, though, a big deal happening today, for us anyway. We have set up, for the first time, a homegrown, totally from scratch way for you to support the show. A lot of people have said in the past, during the past year, do you guys have a Patreon yet? Do you have something, other kind of thing we can do? And I have good news. We have something very much like that. In fact, to you, it won't be any different. You just go, you sign up, and boom, you're in. For us, it means less fees for you. It means an easier way for us to manage this thing. I won't give you the nitty-gritty on all the background and all of the back end. But if you head on over to frogpants.com/store/TWBD, or later today, if you go to therewillbedungeons.com, I'll have a big fat graphic link that you can click on. It'll take you straight there. But either way, it'll take you to the store. There's now an item called There Will Be Dungeons Patron of Dungeons, or POD for short. Yeah. If you're pod people, you're going to want to support us. And there are 5 tiers, 5 levels, we call them, to sort of celebrate the idea that this is a D&D themed thing. And you can get in as low as $2 a month. It's not very much. And you get great stuff for that, all the way up to higher levels where you can get really rad stuff. How about special DM notes from Bo that you receive in your email every month? How about a physical piece of art that comes every month? So much more than that. So go read it for yourselves. I don't want to spend too much time on the show about it, but it's our new way to support the show. It helps all of us, and it helps pay the bills. And if you love what we do, well, show it over here at frogpants.com/store/TWBD. And, of course, therewillbedungeons.com. All right. More on that later. For now, though, it's time for Bo to take us in to Season 2. Bo, take it away.
I'll bring up the music, or is there no music?
Oh, yeah, there is. I forgot. That one-off killed me. Hold on a second. Here we go. All right. Now, officially, it's Bo's turn. Take it away.
All right, it's nothing but blackness. Now rise and fade in, and we see sand. Baking in the sun, golden. The heat coming off of it, distorting the blue sky where it meets the sand. Nash, you're standing on top of a hill. Like a dune, nothing but sand. Hands on your hips, and you're looking out over the vastness. You're alone.
I take it you want me to say something.
You can tell me what you'd like to do.
Well, let me ask you this, Mr. DM. Am I awake or am I in a dream state here?
You are conscious.
I am conscious, and I'm looking off into the distance. All right, well, there's no one there to say anything to, so I'll tell you what's in Nash's mind. Every night for the last 3 months, I've experienced nightmares connected to my time in the solar mines and my escape from there, and the massacre and the blood that was spilt that day. I should say those days. And every night it comes up again and again and again, and I wake up either in a cold sweat or at the very least disturbed and can't get myself back to sleep. Angelashi, who is now my mate of sorts is very comforting in those times and very kind about me dealing with that sort of thing. And in the day, I fill my time with other activities, including a weekly volunteer job I have where I do finger puppets for little kids. Now, you might wonder, why is Nash doing that in the middle of the town square? And the reason he's doing that is because he has a unique ability. He's got finger puppets for this hand, up to 5. Finger puppets for this hand, also up to 5. And then a little baby hand that can do an extra puppet over here. And so I'm staring out into the distance, wondering what these dreams mean. And what I should be experiencing is some of the best days of my life, but I'm very troubled by how I feel. And I don't feel great, but I'm not really letting anyone know. Angelashi maybe has the most inside view of it. She knows about my dreams, but even she doesn't know how tormented I feel right now.
Okay, so you look upon the desert and think these things. They're not said aloud.
No, I'm just thinking them to
hear
myself.
Those thoughts.
Yep.
You feel a tugging at the back of your cloak.
I'll turn around.
Tug.
Okay.
Turn around and you see nothing, and then you look down and you see Pod standing there.
Whoa.
On the ground behind you. Nash!
Pod!
It's me! You're here!
How is this possible?
I've been looking everywhere for you.
But I saw you killed.
What?
You died.
Oh no! And she looks behind you and she points and she goes, "Look out, Nash!" Look of panic on her face as she points.
All right.
And a shadow comes over top of you, darkening the sand where she's standing.
I'll whip around to see who it is.
Whip around and a truck is immediately in your face. It goes, "Meow." Make a saving throw for dexterity.
Holy shit. Sorry, this really kicked off, didn't it? All right.
It came out of nowhere. There was nothing around you when you last. You're surprised.
13.
The truck hits you, and you fall. It's a giant war rig, and you get sucked underneath. Like it hits you, hit the sand, and then you're immediately run over by it. The first set of tires hits you and breaks your arm and leg. Let me roll some damage dice here for you.
That'd be great.
Make sure you know the amount.
Yeah.
20 points of damage.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
All right, and then as you roll under the first set of tires, your head's on the ground. You lift your hand into the sand and look left, and you see a tire coming towards you. Make a dexterity save, please, towards your face.
Oh my gosh, dude. Ooh, 17. It's a little better.
Okay, you manage to lift your head out of the way, and as you do that, your leg gets run over from the other side where it is, and then you in pain, you sit up, and then you hit your head on the undercarriage of the war rig. And then it hooks onto your nose, the metal part. And then because your legs are being run over, it rips your nose open and blood sprays everywhere. And then you fall back down and then you meet another set of tires. And then this one runs over your head and you're in the ground. And then you bounce around a bit. You just like picture just dust and tires and undercarriage and you're bouncing up and down between them, getting parts run over. Another set of tires comes towards you. Make a dexterity save if you can with disadvantage.
Quickly? Is it coming at me quickly?
Yeah, you're being run over. You're in the process of meeting all 9 sets of tires underneath this war rig.
Well, disadvantage, you say?
Yeah.
6.
It hits you again, and you get run underneath another set of tires, and you hear every bone in your body break. You take 48 points of damage.
I'm dead.
Okay, well, you're unconscious. You're
Yeah.
not dead yet.
Well, I mean, I'm out of hit points.
Your body flops around lifelessly, and then finally the truck goes away. And miraculously, somehow, even though you've just been run over and mangled and all your body parts are bent the wrong way and your nose is ripped from your face, you open your eyes and just see the sun. You see the silhouette of a bird and hear, "Yeah." That's not quite how it sounds, but I just can't.
Okay, I was going to ask what kind of bird that is, but it's fine. I'll take it.
Yeah, and you hear footsteps in the sand, and you move your head to look toward what's coming, and you see a silhouette of a man with the sun behind him.
Okay.
He's wearing robes. You hear chains clinking. Clink, clink, clink. And then he kneels down, and finally you're able to see his face, and you see a sweaty, bald-headed man in robes with chains adorned like necklaces all over him. He's got a patch over one eye. He's got a cigar in his mouth. Well, look what we have here. He reaches into his cloak, and he takes out a stick of dynamite, and he lights it with his cigar. And he, boys, we got us a fresh one here. You can't see who he's talking to, but then he turns around and goes to your legs and lifts up your cloak and shoves the dynamite into your crotch hole.
Oh my gosh.
And you just see it sticking out, and it's lit. Then he comes around to your other side, and he kneels, and he goes, now that your life is over, what do you regret the most? I want to know.
Am I able to speak?
Yeah, somehow you move your lips and sounds come forth, but they're very weak.
All right, I go. My only regret. Shit.
Leave that in the show, right?
Oh, yeah. I don't take anything out. I leaned on my space bar. Didn't mean to do that. Went on repeat on a repeat party. All right, I go. I have only one regret. And it was just this. And I try to lean up closer and say, my one regret was coming out here and standing where I am now, or I wouldn't have been hit had I not done it. You mangy piece of shit. And then I fall back.
All right. And as you fall back, the better run, boys. And then he gets up, puts hands over his ears, and you just see him run off before, kaboom! Your body explodes into a million pieces.
Oh my gosh.
And the whole world explodes. And now you're surrounded in a circle of brown clouds, like dust in the middle of a sandstorm. Except you're not there. The only thing left of you is your dragon metal heart, and it floats in the air. And then from the sky, from the explosion falling down, your one good eye and your one red eye drop on top of the dragon metal heart, and you're somehow able to see through them. And you float through the air. Nothing but a dragon metal heart and two googly eyes.
I know what I'm drawing today. Okay.
And you hear a voice echoing through everywhere. Doom is coming. And then there's a crack of lightning, and the brown clouds light up yellow and white, and it flashes. And there you see it, off in the distance through the clouds, a mountain. Its top anger, it's red and black, and smoke billows into the clouds from what appears to be some kind of volcano. And then it swirls around, and these smoky tendrils come rising out of the volcano. And you hear it again. Doom is coming. The smoky tendrils increase longer and longer and make their way towards your heart. And then they find openings in your dragon metal pacemaker and start filtering in 4 long tendrils from the mountain to your heart. And you feel it fill you with dread and horror, and you hear, Doom is coming! And then you wake up in your home in Tiet Kala, where you recognize being. Sweats. You look at your body, it's where it's supposed to be. Nothing's been blown off. There's no dynamite, no mountain, no smoke. You feel a hand on your back. Nash, are you okay? It's Angelashi's voice.
It was another dream, but this was different. In the dream, I had a dream in the dream. I can't explain it.
And she takes another hand. Angelashi makes herself sort of seen in your periphery, and she kisses your cheek. And she rubs her hand on your cheek, sort of caressing you, trying to calm you. My poor Nash. If I could find a way to calm your dreams, I would. But I have something to tell you. I'm just going to say it. I wasn't sure, but then I found out. And she takes your hand and she puts it on her belly. She says, "Do you feel it? We're pregnant."
How is it possible you are with child?
And cut to black. There will be Dungeons Season 2.
What do you mean you don't have theme music? That sounded like great theme music right then.
Thanks for playing along.
Oh my gosh.
So now we're gonna read a little bit and get caught up on what everyone's been doing. All right.
Can I just say I really thought you had killed me today.
I mean, it's a dream. Sometimes in our dreams we experience those things, and that's what it feels like, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. All right.
And so our heroes, weary from months of battle, demons, wandering, and betrayal, settled into a life at the restored queendom of Tiat-Kala. In the weeks that followed the slaughter of the Guzzle Gang imposters, the returned tiefling people remained on edge, hurriedly repurposing buildings and stone and steel to erect an outer wall around Orpheus, formerly known as Trashburg. But as the weeks turned into months, it began to seem that the principal's great Toyota host anticipated to attend the wedding of the Prince Aladwir, of the late Prince Aladwir, to the Acrimonikar Jot Eligos would not be arriving after all, and over time, life in Tiat-Kala became peaceful. For the first time in his life, Vorel owned something called property, and to better understand the strange, fleshy humanoids better, he opened the Golden Sands Inn and Adventurers Guild. He offered the citizens of Orpheus the best coffee this side of the Dead Fingers, but otherwise questionable food and ale served by his apprentice, Bok of Vikdikik. But Vorel's true offering was to provide a place for hearty desert travelers to take up difficult missions with the hopes that these journeymen would return with information about the looming threat of the principal. Erstwhile, Stanley Billings felt as though his mind was beginning to unravel. Among the possessions left behind by Buttons the Wizarding Cat, Stanley found his prized dictionary, a manual called De Monstrositorum Arcanilicus, and a map of the wider known world, documenting the sheer vastness of the principal's lands. Although his possessor, Dian Talus, Archfey of Carnage, had remained inexplicably dormant, he was always at the forefront of Stanley's every thought, alongside the people he failed at Dust Hill. During his lowest moment, Stanley had a vision of a world filled with endless ocean and sky, and of a singular flying fish that laughed like the happiest of children laugh. At first he thought nothing of the vision, but one day saw the same fish emblazoned on the newly constructed Church of the Fishbird, Malhaya, and imagined his salvation might lie with her acolytes, the Tide Bearers. As Stanley and Vorel grappled with their challenges, Nash Maggard of the Solar Mines lived his life as he always had, begrudging every moment. But the door to his heart was opened ever so slightly where it hadn't before, letting a little light in. That light was Angelashi, who loved him unconditionally, as though fate and destiny were a road lain before her that she could see. Unwavering is her conviction. Soon after the battle to free Tiat-Kala ended, Angelashi knelt before him, took Nash's hand, and beyond all odds, told him they were pregnant with child. And so the unfathomable had happened. Nash Maggard of the Solar Mines, the baby Armid, the Cockless, he who licks Froghemoth eggs, was given gifts he had every reason to believe were forever beyond his reach. And with this newfound and strange feeling, happiness, he took that energy and began performing a three-handed solo puppet show for the tiefling children every weekend, who delighted in every second of it. Of the four, life was most difficult for Queen Orifi Akmenos, whose initial zeal for rulership and change in light of war quickly devolved into the daily business of keeping the houses from one another's throats. She abolished guzbucks, mandated toilets in every building, ordered the rebuilding of the walls, vehicle fleet, and sent House Sora scouts to the enemy's territories, all to much acclaim and support of her people. However, she abolished the serfdom of the Chirinetsi, the houseless of the Tiet Kaline, and ordered that the roles be awarded by merit rather than house. Although her people earnestly accepted this change to their society, it became quickly apparent that the houses were not prepared to part with their traditions without inflicting wounds to one another by tooth and nail. It is during one such adjudication at the Queen's Court that our story continues. And so we fade back in, and we see Hope sitting upon a throne. There's now a sunroof in this throne room of the Keep of Tiet Kala, and it's spilling light onto the throne and onto the area before the throne and into the gallery. Hope, describe what people see when they see the Queen of Tiet Kala.
They see, so her hair's definitely a lot fancier. It's up for the most part. She's wearing the crown. Gaudy dress, like super gaudy, gold, jewels, all of that stuff, basically to show wealth, to show power, to be as imposing as possible.
Mm-hmm. And are you dressed in armor? How are you dressed?
Um, a gown. She doesn't see the need for armor on this throne. She's not trying to war. She's more just trying to rule through her wiles,
Mm-hmm.
because you can't fight anybody on the throne, and she understands this with the help of Nobieri, especially. So she wants to show off that she understands the politics, or at least is trying to understand the politics, and won't stand for any of it.
Excellent. So, as the crowd, as the court, the attendees of the court, which are typically the heads of the houses, important people like Chernetsi in particular, of who may be in charge of things, come to court to have the business of the day settled. That's mostly who you see as you gaze out amongst the faces in the crowd. But you catch the face of a non-tiefling who sometimes attends, arms crossed, leaning against a wall. You see Stanley, clean shaven. Stanley, tell listeners what you look like these days.
So Stanley these days is looking still fancy as always. He has upgraded his armor to a more traditional fancy leather armor, and he's let his hair grow out. It's about shoulder length. He's clean shaven. He's wearing kind of a short half cape that seems like something he wears in formal situations like this, that covers just one half of him, and still carries his rapier and all that with him everywhere he goes, but definitely even more cleaned up than he was before, which was already pretty fancy for this world.
All right, Hope. Well, that's what you see. You see the faces of the usual courtiers and Stanley leaning against the wall, kind of in the shadow, just observing and not participating.
All right.
All right. So we start in the middle of a debate. Vermeer Poxus, who is the head of House Poxus, master at arms and mother of warriors, has come to you with a complaint, and she's in the middle of expressing such complaint. My queen, my daughter Neffy, has a desire to become a clothier and an armorer, and she applied to Kitrib's house, that is the house of clothing and armor, to take a position there, and she was refused. There was an opening, and Kitrib decided to let her son, I forget her name. 1 second. What was it? Oh, Dranch. Allow her son Dranch to take that open position. But Dranch is 6 years younger than my nephew, and not as talented in the ways of sewing. And most importantly, you've mandated that jobs be given on merit, and Nefi has merit where her son does not. But Kitrib secretly is disobeying your mandate, and I would like it rectified, and I would like her held to account. And then Kitrib immediately speaks out. This is false, Queen Akmenos. Nefi is not qualified to be a clothier or an armorer. Dranch may be 6 years her junior, but in 6 years' time, Dranch will outpace her talent. And I'd like to invest in members of my house who merit the position first. And I do not owe an explanation to Apoxis. So, quite clearly, you should disregard this petition. And the faces look at...
Here's how we're going to settle things. So, you claim your child is better than this other child, or will be, but we need good stuff now. So what's going to happen is we're going to have a competition, and it's going to be in front of a crowd of people, and we'll find ourselves a neutral judge. And the two will be tasked with making 3 things, 3 items. And then the judge will determine which one actually is better for us right now. Now, if it happens to not be your son, you can train him in the background. He lives with you. And then in 6 years' time, if he's as good as you think he will be, he can probably take a position.
He will not be as good in 6 years' time if he doesn't get his apprenticeship now, my lord. What's my lady? What do I call a queen?
Milady, right?
No, but
my
let's not
lady, my
Milady's
liege, my lord, it all works.
Your
My
Highness.
queen, your highness.
My queen.
Yeah,
My queen's pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah.
My lord, she must... Dranch must take an apprenticeship now in order to be good in 6 years' time.
Well, surely they could work in the background if they're really dedicated.
So Kitrib doesn't say anything, but there's a clear look of frustration upon her face that is not lost on you. She's trying to hide it, but you can clearly see she's frustrated.
She can have her frustrations.
Very well.
We need good materials. We don't need.
And then Vermeer speaks up and says, "And who should be a proper judge? I do not want it to be one of the Ixchili. They will be biased to their house. Who is a good... my queen, in your wisdom, who do you think would be best to judge the quality of the clothes that is also not biased towards House Ixchili?"
And this is armor we're talking about? Armor.
Yes, it's clothing. Like the House of Ixchil, they specialize in the fabrication of clothing and the manufacture of textiles, and they also are armorers, so they have blacksmithing specialty as well in this regard.
Grab one of the warriors. They would know. Good armor when they see it.
Nobieri steps to your side and says, "It is decided then. You take the queen's decision and you implement it." And both heads of houses, both women, bow and sort of step back into the gallery where the main mass of the court is. And Nobieri clears his throat and he says, next, here we have next on the list, my queen, is Relem Vonch, chief engineer, father of castle and town infrastructure, would like to speak to you and address the court.
Speak.
And Relem steps from the gallery of nobles into the sunlight, where you can see that he's not a vampire because the sunlight's shining on him. He says, "My queen, thank you for taking the time to hear me out today. En jogolom es akamenokat. And the rest of the gallery goes, Enjogalom as Ekomenokat, which means, what does it mean? Yeah, I forget what it means, but it's basically I serve the queen, or, I serve the queen in all things. It's a positive thing. And I thank you for taking the time to hear me out. I feel it is important to provide you with a progress report on the improvements to Tiet Kala. We have indeed done everything you have commanded with respect to erecting the outer wall and building new buildings which are important to our people, such as the church of the fishbird. But I have to tell you now that we are basically out of stone, out of steel, and we have very little wood. We've used the rest to repair the vehicle fleet, so we have that. But further repairs to the castle, any other the statues of you and the champions of Tiet Kala, we will not be able to do these things if we do not have the resources. And I wonder if you would hear me out. We have indeed been on high alert for what you say are the enemies of our kingdom, in particular the principal and his people. My scouts and the intelligence we've all shared, not just my own, have said that they do occupy Slavetown to the north. And they have ample resources that we would find helpful. I wonder if you would, and he sort of bows down humbly as if he's afraid he's about to get smacked for this, but I would humbly request that you consider opening negotiation to trade with them. Our old partners of trade are gone. Hundreds of years have passed. We know of no dwarves, no gnomes with which to do trade. It would seem the only settlement with the resources we require belong to this enemy, who has not attacked us in 3 months. I wonder if there's a possibility that we can begin negotiating our oil and water for trade so we may get these things. And then he looks to the ground sort of humbly.
I need 5 days' time to consider this, and I will be back to you about that.
Okay, and then as you say that, the door bangs open, and you see Melgor of Poxus walk into the chamber, and he's carrying on one hand by the collar a man dressed in Trashburg basic with a bag over his head, and the whole crowd goes and he walks in. He looks angry. He's got as he drags in this guy who's kicking, manacled by the hands and legs. Step aside, he says to Relum, and then he comes up into the sunlight and throws the body down. Throws the body he's carrying, who's living in the Trashburg basic with a bag over his head, onto the ground. Your Highness, I have good news. Behold. And then he looks to the body he has, who's on all fours, hands and knees, manacled, and you hear, he takes the bag off, and you see the head. It's a bald head. It's got tattoos of 26 all over it. You do not forget 27 Carnage. And he goes, get me the out of here, man. This bullshit. This is bullshit. Get me out of here.
This guy.
And then Melgor, as this guy's talking, he just winds up and punches him, pow, right in the face. He's like, you will show respect to the queen. Your Highness, we have apprehended the one who calls him some number and Carnage, leader now of the 26 block, responsible for the murder of 4 tieflings last week. The self-called rebel forces who mean to take Tiet Kala for themselves, but obviously cannot, so they are hurting us. He has been a wanted criminal for some months, and we have finally apprehended them. I bring him here for immediate justice for those who have fallen. And then Melgor grabs his like the top of his head and forces him to look up at you, and then sort of kicks him and punches him in the back.
Hope will kind of smile a bit. She's loving being in power.
And he holds him there for you and waits for you to act.
First, we need to find out what he knows. I don't care how you do that. And after that, he dies. Along with anyone he's associated with. We don't need another rebel gang in this town.
And you hear, boom! You can't kill us, you bitch! Where this place belongs to the 26th block. You stole it from us. Boom!
We can't
You
steal
stole
from
it.
the dead.
You betrayed us. You killed Monsoon Cabbage, our leader, and then I don't know where you came from, but Jed Kala is supposed to be ours. Boom! And you're gonna get yours. I'm gonna enjoy watching kill. And then Melgor just pow! Just punches him right in the jaw, and like teeth fly out. And you would be silent and show respect to the queen.
Please, he still needs to speak.
And he looks up to you and spits at his tooth. And he goes, and he just laughs in your face. He's laughing maniacally from the punch.
And then I'll just nod at Melgor to take him to whatever torture chamber he needs to go to.
Are you sure you can't just make your decision here? And they sort of, he takes one hand and sort of unleashes the sword that he has in the scabbard from his back.
In case
We
he
can do
knows
this now.
anything.
There's no need to delay justice in this case. Let me kill this scum.
But you said he has others with him, yes?
Oh, sorry, I can't hear you. Sorry. It's my bad.
Okay. But you said there are others with him, yes?
We've apprehended 18 of the 26 block gang. They resisted, and most of them were killed in the conflict.
Take him in front of his people and kill him there.
Very well. And he picks up, he puts the bag back over 47 Carnage's head, and
47.
and then ties it up, and you just hear, boom! Kill you! And then Melgor drags him out, this time behind him facing up. And the crowd is like, you look around the crowd, they're all in shock. And Relum sort of looks, and then
I'll
he
I'll
moves
turn to
back.
Relum and I'll go, 5 days.
Thank you, Your Highness. And then Nobieri, you can tell when he's beginning to get impatient and you're getting close to the end of the session. He goes, we have one more for you, one more petition for you. Let me see here. There is a gnome from outside of Tiet Kala who's come here to see you. His name is Figaro Bellshivers.
What? Can you repeat that name?
Figaro Bellshivers.
Bell Shivers?
Figaro Bellshivers.
That's awesome. All right.
He says that he has a message from his people and would like to speak to the queen and request an audience.
Hope will nod.
Okay, so Nobieri nods to some pages, and the pages sort of run. They open the door, and then after a few moments goes by, the throne room doors swing open once again. And with 2 guards behind him guarding him, a small little gnome in a hood begins walking, short, waddling down the aisle, and he gets close to the light. And then he bows, not having removed his hood, to you. And then as he looks up, you see his face, and you see it's the face of Softhead. And he pulls the hood back. My great Queen Hope of Tiet Kala, greetings to you.
Gods.
Wait. I am sorry for the subterfuge.
At least restrain him.
But,
and I won't listen until he's restrained.
The guards move immediately and grab both of his arms as he stretches them out to speak. He says, No, please. I submit myself to your mercy. I bring word from the principal. He would have you hear me out. Your Grace.
Speak.
And he looks as if to search his words for a quick second. He seems quite scared. Sorry, I'm just. Yep, he seems quite scared. He says, I am Lord Softhead,
I know who you
a
are.
trusted noble of the Principal.
Get to the point.
And the great Principal wishes to meet with the great Queen of Tiet Kala in order to forge peace between our two nations and to move forward together to face the future and our mutual enemies. The Principal has learned of the affairs beyond the Dead Fingers and the return of the great tieflings, and he shares their disdain of demonkind and thinks that the tieflings and the great races of the Principal's lands are destined to work together and would like to begin discussions about peace.
Did he have anything else to say, Softhead? Finish this up.
He said to tell I am author. I can't. You have to meet with him to speak about more sensitive matters. But I am allowed to tell you that he apologizes for the attack on Dust Hill, and that you have met an elf by the name of Athenalia, the magistrate of Slavetown. It was not the Principal's orders to raid Dust Hill, but Athenalia's. He tasked me himself with penetrating Dust Hill in order to soften its defenses. But I have learned since my time lost beneath that place that we used to call home, Hope, that I was misguided.
Well, I'm glad
so-
you're ready to atone for your sins. And then she'll make the hand gesture to kill him.
Wait! And the sword comes out, and the guard looks at you. He stops. Wait! The Principal's prepared to release the slaves of Dust Hill to your custody. All of them. As an act of... As a gesture... As a first gesture for peace. All of your slaves. All of them no longer slaves. Return to you. But if you kill me, we can't make that happen. Please, I submit myself to you. Hear me out. Do not kill me, and do not turn your back on this. We are allies. The future can only be met together through the strength of the living races. The Principal
gonna
wishes...
glance back at Stanley. What does Stanley look like right now?
Stanley, seeing Softhead, has moved up. Definitely, he's not hanging in the back, and he is currently watching this intently. And I think he would probably give a gesture of "Let's hear him out."
Okay.
Not...
I'm just like a nod that you understand what it means, and
Yeah. All right, Softhead, keep speaking.
Okay, so the Principal has said that there can be more that is beneficial. He will release the slaves no matter what transpires today, except if you kill me, which is clearly a sign of war. But we can release the slaves, and then you can meet with the Principal in person at a place of your choosing to discuss the future of our two kingdoms together. And of course the Principal will have things that he would like, but you can also make demands. I heard through the walls, I'm sorry, but that you're perhaps low on stone and wood, and we have lots of that from Mogan Frogan, the Dwarven Empire across the Dead Fingers, as well as our great fields. There is much for Tiet Kala to gain. I have set aside my spite, Hope. When Peter died, I didn't know what was going to become of me, but the Principal helped me see my strength. And we all have to recover from our hurt. So please, please, my
So
queen.
the slaves will be released so long as I don't kill you.
Well, that would be an act of war. I am a noble, acting on behalf of the principal. I'm not just the nice gnome Softhead you knew from Dust Hill. I never was. I am a special agent of the principal who performs certain tasks of a delicate nature for him. Mostly statecraft is what I do best. Not much statecraft in Dust Hill.
I will respect what the principal asks, but you do require some form of punishment for what you've done to us over the past few times. And since you like to talk so much, how about we cut out that tongue?
No, my queen, please.
And then she'll motion to the guards to cut out the tongue, but burn the stump so he doesn't bleed out.
Right then and there?
As long as he's alive.
Right then and there?
Yes.
Okay. He starts screaming, no! No! Ah! Ah! And then the guards just slowly, quietly, and very methodically pin him down. Very easy to do. And you don't see what's going on in the scrum of guards, but you hear a shoo! And then you see the tongue sort of get tossed and then slide across the ground, a trail of blood. And you hear, ah! In there. And then, I'm not sure what they have. One of the guards walks towards a torch in the room and brings it into the scrum of men. You hear, ah! And then Softhead, the dudes begin to separate from him, and you see him lying on the ground, and the screaming stops as he passed out, blood and black soot covering his face.
Now you go back to the principal and you tell him I'm willing to meet with him.
He's unconscious.
Oh. Wait until he wakes up. Send him with a note that I'll meet with the principal.
He came here with a false story, my lady. We do not know where he come from. Where should we put him?
Let him go back. He can still write if he needs to.
Just throw him on the street and Orpheus?
Throw some water on his face, see if he'll wake up.
Okay, so one of the pages runs out and runs back in with a pail of water, and he gives it to one of the guards, and the guard looks at you, waiting for your okay.
I'll give a nod.
And he takes the pail back and chucks it. What have you done?
That's thank you.
He holds his mouth.
Me and my friends. Now you go back. We will meet with him. You can still communicate through writing. I haven't killed you this day, so I haven't transgressed on any promises that the principal made. And we will talk about the release of the prisoners.
Where are we to meet? Where are we to meet you?
You would come to me in my castle here in 3 days' time.
Thank you for your mercy, Queen.
If I ever see you again, I kill you. Get out.
And you see this bottle waddling out as it runs out of the throne room. And the throne room is silent. You see the faces of your tieflings, and they behold you with shock.
Someone clean up this tongue.
Pages hurry up with brooms and begin. They clean up the tongue, put it in a dustbin, and another page gets on their hands and knees with the cloth and begins scrubbing in circles, cleaning up the blood.
Wish Nash was there. He'd keep the
looks
tongue.
to you and says, "There is no more for today, and so court is adjourned until tomorrow." And then the gallery begins to rise up, and everyone begins to shuffling out. The discussion, though, this was a very eventful court. This is not typical day at court. There is a loud din of conversation as the tieflings are talking amongst one another and begin filtering out very quickly, including the guards. And then it's you and Nobieri. And Stanley, I don't know if you're leaving or staying.
No, I'd probably hang back.
All right, it's just the three of you in the throne room now. The door's closed. The page sort of takes both doors and makes a show of closing them. And it's just Nobieri, Hope, and Stanley in the throne room.
Oh, we might have the slaves back.
I think this is our first good opportunity to see something like that happen, though I don't trust it for a minute.
No, me either. Navieri, I don't want anyone going out by themselves. I'm sure the principal wants some sort of retaliation for what I just did, and we need to stop that as much as we can.
Oh, I don't know. I think that the principal values you. And if there's something to be gained, he can find it in him to allow you to have this. I would not worry about this.
Okay.
But you should discuss it with the rest of your group, yes? You have a history with the principal. You have things that... other business in this regard. Perhaps you should go on one of your walks tonight.
Yes, I think I will.
Very good. Now, and he looks to you, Stanley, and he says, I wanted to give this to you, Hope. And he produces a stone from his jacket. You said that if you ever had to leave Tiet Kala, if we could find a way to communicate over vast distances, we've found a way to do that. I've created this stone here for you. It's called a sending stone. It's sort of this glowing rock, and he gives it to you. Says, once per day you can send a message to the other stone, which I will keep. And that way you can learn of the affairs of what's happening here, and you can relay your wishes back to me.
Thank you.
Good. Yes, so you should return to your chambers and dress appropriately for leaving, and discuss it with your friends. I must think about what all this means before I provide you with counsel.
And she'll nod and let Nobieri go on, dismissing him a little bit. The royal way.
Yeah, and Nobieri leaves the room.
Well, Hope, what are your thoughts?
What if he was right about the slaves? Do you think I should have killed him?
I don't know. I hate to see Softhead get away again. He's a slippery one, to say the very least, but it's a lot of people's lives to weigh against one gnome that we will find again.
Very true. So, did you have a fun time today in this?
Well, it was certainly more exciting than some of the previous courts, that's for sure. I didn't fall asleep, but I would welcome a little less surprises like that. Wasn't really ready to be reminded of Softhead.
Yeah. How's the hospital going, by the way?
Well, it's mostly taking care of itself at this point. Seems to be up and operating just fine.
Good to hear.
Wanted to say thank you again for letting me oversee that.
No, please don't. You, the three of you, I could never thank you enough for what you've done.
Well, I will see if I can get word out to the others and find them and make sure we're all in the same place tonight.
Sounds good for Earlsbar.
Yeah.
All right. Hope will nod and start walking back. It's gonna take an hour to change or so.
Now you begin walking back down the hallway, and you leave Stanley to it. And you actually see one of your tutors walking down the hallway towards you. And you have a strong impulse to turn around and go hide, but he's seen you. And he's made eye contact. Doesn't say anything, but he's walking. You're passing each other in the hallway.
Hope will take a deep breath and make eye contact and
His name is Chuziel. And he
nod.
goes, Queen,
Yes.
I know that you're my queen, but you are my student. Have you finished reading Volume 3 of the Histories of the War of 20 Sons and Daughters by Evangelus Dentipulus?
I'm halfway through. I promise I'll
Halfway?
finish it tonight. It's a long read.
You will be dead long before we ever finish what we need to. Your ancestors knew the value of study. You need to devote more time to reading. Tonight, read the book. There's no excuse.
Okay, I'll read the book. I'll finish it tonight.
Mm-hmm. And then he just makes that noise and he continues walking down the hall. There will be a quiz tomorrow, young Hope.
Hope will give a respectful nod to her tutor. And as she gets changed and ready, she'll have one of her chambermaids to read it aloud to her.
You're getting ahead of yourself because you go to your chambers and open it up and you see there are two tieflings in there with you. And one is the Queen's royal clothier, Tranquil, who picks your clothes, makes your clothes, assigns people to make your clothes, and dresses you. I'm not sure if you let her do that or not, but she's there for you. And Koba. And Koba is your beautician who applies some makeup and just generally provides advice on how you look. And Tranquil and Koba work together with you. And so they're in your room, and as soon as you open the door, they were kind of probably lounging about. So they sit up and they go, "My queen," and they curtsy before you. And how was court today? Says Tranquil.
Very eventful today. I'm sure you'll hear about it later as word spreads. It was fun.
Okay, and are you done for the day, or do we need to pick a new clothing for you? Do you have a romantic date tonight?
No, just dress me down.
No, has Melgor said anything to you?
No, dress me down.
Yes, my lady. And Koba says, "I'm going to excuse myself, my lady, but unless you need my services."
Yes, actually, could you read aloud from this book? And she'll point at the history book.
She looks sort of awkwardly. I don't want to say no, my lady, but I'm Chirnetzi.
Oh.
I don't know how to read.
Could you go find me somebody who can?
Certainly, yes, I will. And Koba sort of gets up hurriedly and walks out. And then, so it's just you and Tranquil in the room. And Tranquil says, Melgor is dreamy, isn't he? I mean, if it's not someone that you want, maybe someone else, if someone else was interested, would you object, my queen?
I think he likes his job too much.
What did you say? He likes his junk too much?
His job.
You can like a junk too much too.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's undress you now. Turn around, I'll unzip you.
All right. And then Hope will start taking
so
the positions.
You turn around and you hear, "I don't know. I think I've seen the way Melgor looks at you. He's not. It's like he's not supposed to, but then he's looking at you and he thinks nobody notices."
I don't know. The Hope will just stay silent.
Then a moment goes by.
Say that again, Bo. You cut out a little.
A moment goes by and nothing happens. You're expecting Tranquil to unzip the back of your dress or unbutton it rather and untie it, but she hasn't started yet.
Is everything all right? And Hope will look behind her.
You look behind her, and then you see Tranquil's corpse on the floor, and you see a large shadow of a man, a tiefling, dark, his eyes red, like Darth Maulish looking. His eye, and he goes, "What is it?" Yeah. He says, "We cut those who are named uncut," and he stabs you.
Oh!
Roll for initiative.
Oh my God! Oh my God! 23.
Okay, and your AC naturally, because you don't have armor on, I think is like 10, right?
Yeah, let me de-equip that here. 14.
Okay, so he hits you, and this is with sneak attack damage, so it's going to be a lot. 1d6. All right, so you take 4 points of regular damage. And then I need you to make a Constitution saving throw. Your target is 15.
All right, 20.
20. Okay, so and you can see on the blade that it's dripping with the green ooze as it cuts you, but you're not. I mean, it's so in the moment you're not entirely sure, but basically, you feel that there's something festering immediately inside as it burns in an unusual way. You've been cut several times throughout your life, so you know what a cut feels like, but your flesh begins to bubble, and you take 18 points of poison damage.
Oh, sweet. Defense. So that's half, right?
Do you get half? You're resistant to poison?
Yes.
Oh, cool. Well, that's awesome. I didn't know that. What does the resistance come from? Is that just from being a tiefling, or?
It was one of the feats I took when we made the deal with Katovalpraith.
Oh, sick! I didn't even know that. That's great. Perfect. Or I did, but I didn't think of it when I was coming up with this. Okay, so but he stabs you, and he looks at you, and his eyes lock with yours as he takes his hand. He's not grappling you, but he grabs your chin, and he forces your face to look at yours, and he goes, "Dolo Papio, Dolo Papio, Dolo Papio, Dolo Papio," and he just says that same name of a demon you've heard of before in your face. It is your turn to act.
Do I
You have no weapons. You're wearing a princess dress.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure I could make a sound. I'll just call out, Gabs! Gabs,
Okay.
get in here!
All right, you can call that out. I'll give that to you for free, but you can also fight back. You do have a robot arm and robot leg, and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like that,
yeah.
which you can use as a mace, so you aren't unequipped. Just don't have your
Totally.
usual
So I'll
tools.
go to reach for my horn and my fake horn, pull it out, and go to stab his neck.
Okay. Finesse weapon.
Oh my goodness. Hold on. This has been a bit, so I'll call this a dagger. Let it do the math for me. Where are you, dagger? There we go. Okay. Oh. Butters.
Butters. You really have become a princess. All the swearing is gone. Oh,
Three
Butters,
months! 3 months of tough training. Let's see. It's gonna be a 12.
That was play of the game right there. 12. Okay. So you go to stab with your horn, and it hits his leather and just doesn't penetrate into the skin, doing any damage. You have a bonus action and a possible move. Remember, he's not grappling you. He's just holding your face and being threatening.
Okay, in that case, what I'll do.
But if you do move outside, he gets an opportunity attack. So something.
Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll pop my my
you get
action
2
surge
attacks.
so I can disengage.
Remember, when you take an attack action, you get 2 attacks.
Yeah, but I want to get away from this guy.
Okay. All right.
So I'll use my action surge for an additional action to disengage, and then I'll dash for the door.
Okay. So, you're gonna. How are you using the disengage?
To disengage from him, so
So
that
you use
as
your
I
action.
move.
You've used your action to attack,
Mhm.
so you can't. Do you have a way to use disengage?
Yes,
you've
my
already-
action surge. That gives me another
Perfect.
action.
Got it. Okay, that's what. Yeah, perfect. So you sort of push his hands aside. You push the knife away, and just get. You're able to sort of move his body quickly so that he can't attack you as you step out from his range, and you run to the door.
Yeah.
Okay, and you run to the door. Yeah. Okay, so you run about 30 feet. You're at the door, and you're at the door. So that's your turn. He chases after you. He chases after you right behind you, throws his body at you, and makes an attack. It's a natural 20.
Oh shit.
Let's see. So that's super bad for you. Okay, so he is going. Can you make your DC? Your poison save, Constitution save, please?
Yes. Going to be a 17.
Okay, so you save on the you get half damage on the poison, but you do take 7 points of physical slashing damage for
Okay.
knife, and then and you take 23 points of poison damage. That's halved.
Oh shoot.
Because of your it's halved because you saved on the throw, and then you have the 23 because of your resistance to poison damage.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so he just runs up behind you, and right in the side, you feel the knife sink in. You feel poison course all through your side. And you bang again, like he bangs you up against the door. So he pushes you into the door as you try to open it, and then stabs you right there. It's your turn.
All right. Okay, so my arm is loaded.
Mm-hmm.
I think I have disadvantage if the ranged weapon is used too close. Ah. Blood records. Okay, hold on.
I thought you were gonna do a
So
Kyle
she'll
Butt.
still
Well,
keep
you're
screaming.
in your bedroom, so where do you keep your guns?
Yeah. She's still screaming for the guards to get in there. I'm assuming some of them are dead. Yeah, so she'll... Where does she keep her guns? Oh, okay. So she'll scramble back over to where her bed is, and then underneath a floorboard under her bed is where she keeps her guns, and she'll go to grab Scully.
You can do all that'll be your action to collect your guns,
Okay.
and it'll be your move action to get to where your bed is. But you incur an opportunity attack to do this because he's right next to you up against the door. It doesn't, it's fine.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that he's gonna get one.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. A natural 1. Sweet.
Yes.
I got both ends of the spectrum. So he goes to make a swing at you as you move, and you find an opening, and you can make a free attack on him in lieu of him getting an opportunity attack on you.
Okay, cool. With the dagger, I can swing it out.
And anything you have that can attack him, you can do.
It's a 10.
Is it 10 plus your roll?
It's
Your
a
dagger's
10.
10 plus 7. Oh, you're getting real over. Okay,
I got
so
a 3.
you try to make an attempt to flip the script and opportunity attack him, but it doesn't work. You miss, so you both sort of go and do these like Jason Bourne things as you dodge and try to swing at each other, and then finally you're able to dive under the bed, snap the button, flip up the board, pull out your guns, flip them around your hand, and get back up. Okay, and now this time in lieu of coming straight at you for an attack, he has one knife in his hand. His skin looks cracked and black, and he's got boils everywhere in his face, and he's like, Dolo Popio, Dolo Popio, Dolo Popio. There's so much glare on my screen right now. Dolo Popio. And he just stands there, and he's between you and the door, and he's just waiting for you to get within range to strike at you again. It's your turn.
Whatever's glaring on your face, so it's creating this really awesome effect.
Dolo Popio, Dolo Popio.
Let's see. So while this is going on, I'll be... I guess, do I need to be touching the gun belt to summon the bullets?
Yeah, if you don't have the gun belt, you don't have the bullets.
Okay.
But you could, we can say that you make it your routine to keep the gun loaded with the regular bullets that you don't have to maintain every day.
Here's what I'm thinking is that the guns would be with the
belt?
The belt, yes. So I'd be
So
there.
rather than pick up the guns, you picked up the belt, put the belt on.
Oh, okay.
So you're wearing a princess. You're wearing your princess outfit, looking regal and sexy as F, and then like you've got a gun. You got your guns and like cowboy belt, like all adorned with your crown on and everything.
And then I'll summon the radiant darts because I'm going to assume he's going to be weak to radiant damage since he keeps saying a demon's name. And then I'll load up Scully and I'll take my 2 attacks.
Okay, sounds good. And these are radiant darts you're firing.
Yes. The first one is going to be a 15.
Okay. Let me check the stat block. You've scored yourself a hit.
Cool. And then the second one is a 21.
Okay, roll your damage dice for both, please.
Kick ass. Alright, so radiant.
That should be 2d8 plus 6 for each gun, and then whatever the radiant dart does. I'm going to look it up now.
So 13 damage for
Radiant
the first
dart does an
one.
additional 2d8 if you're hitting a fiend or undead creature.
Yeah. So do I get to roll extra?
Oh,
damage?
sorry. I'm having trouble with my headphones here. Sorry. Can I hear anyone?
Yeah.
Okay.
Test.
Yeah, sorry. There's a loose connection right now. It's my bad. I think it broke this week. Okay, so you've shot the 2 shots. How much damage is it?
Do I get to add the extra damage?
You do.
Awesome. All right, so the first one is going to do 20 damage.
Okay, and the second?
Second is going to be 21.
Okay, both shots fire out. And they slice through, and these holes sort of open up, and it seems to burn these yellow holes, kind of like the way that black hole picture looked, like these yellow holes sort of just shoot. It doesn't blow off pieces of his flesh, it just creates these holes, and you hear him go, ah! And white light begins to pour out of his mouth. It's all a Pompeo! Ah! And then the door kicks open. Poof, you see a foot, and you see 2 Pox's knights as they run in and just start hacking at him. One has a battle axe, the other one has a sword, and they just start killing him as you delivered most of the damage, but they hold him down and just end his life.
Damn.
Hope's got nothing
Koba-
to say.
Koba-
She's just watching this thing.
Koba comes back in. She goes, ah, Tranquil, and she just runs by Tranquil, and then Melgor also sort of runs in. And he's like, my queen, and he walks up to you. He's like, are you safe?
I'll look down at the cut in my side.
Get her a doctor now. Get Nobieri. And then I think we're going to leave it there for now and take our break.
Well, there you
Come
go.
back.
All right.
We'll get the moral.
Yeah, man. Didn't know you were going to get accosted. Stanley should have gone with her and watched the show.
Well, no one's really allowed in the Queen's bedroom.
Stanley want to read me a book about
Yeah.
the history of war.
What you doing, Hope? Getting changed? Can I come?
Yeah.
Hey,
Can he come hang out?
surprise! 3 months, I became a creeper. Hey.